Okay, we've now covered most of the major concepts. We've covered ambidexterity in switching hands. We've covered what to do if it hits you, just change direction. And that is a universal principle. If you're just like spinning and you're doing crazy stuff and it hits you, just change direction and it'll look natural. Give it a little bounce. So we've also covered how to get out of tangles and wraps. Just grab a part of the Meteor that isn't part of that, take out the hand that's gripping it, and it will all come unwound immediately. And we have covered grip placement a little bit. Now, there's one important thing to keep in mind, and I'm not going to go into very much detail on this during this class. There's center grip, which we've done a lot of moves on. There's off-center grip, so just grabbing it literally anywhere else. And there's end grip, which is grabbing it by one of the heads. Now, when you're doing something like, well, that's a really bad example. Cut. When you're doing something like a rotor, you need to get the rotation going. And the center of, that was a spiral wrap. The center of grip is not necessarily going to be the center of rotation. Let me try to show that to you in a plane that you can see. Whoops! So, the center of grip isn't necessarily going to be the center of rotation. So, when you're getting it going, it can be spinning, where that was a contact move, but the grip, the anchor, was still off-center. It was not where the center of rotation was, which is where the center is. Now, anchor points are very important. Anchor points are just something to keep in mind while you're spinning. While you're doing all this crazy contact stuff, you need to remember what part of your body is actually making sure that the Meteor doesn't fly off into space. So that also includes when you're doing all sorts of crazy hand wraps, like if you're spinning your Meteor more like this and it's wrapping up around your hand, which finger was the one that was holding it so that if you let all the others go, you'd still have a grip on it? Now, in this case, it was my ring finger right here, but I just remember that when I'm going. It's something to be mindful of. Every time you grip it, if you grip it like this, your hand is the anchor. If you open your hand, you don't have a grip on it anymore and it can go flying off into space. If your thumb is the thing that's gripping it, don't let go of your thumb unless you really are like knowing what you're doing and attempting to do a contact move, because it will go flying off into space. If you've got a grip like this where it's wrapped around your hand, the whole hand is your anchor, which is very handy. This is a great grip for keeping the head separate and also keeping a hold of it. If you just keep your hand in a fist, Meteor isn't going anywhere. Now you can have anchors anywhere on your body. Like when we were doing the hoop breaks, we did elbow anchor, which was like this. This is elbow anchor. If I release my elbow, it goes flying off into space. When we are doing the neck wrap, it's going around like this, and our shoulders are the temporary anchor. And the term anchor doesn't work as well for contact moves, but it's still the same basic idea. What part of my body is the Meteor touching right now so that I still have control over it? Now, if you're doing tosses, obviously you're not going to have any contact with it at all, but you'll be mindful of where are you going to grab it when it comes back down. And the anchor thing is also important to keep in mind if you're trying to get yourself out of wraps around your hand or tangles, because you need to make sure that that anchor comes off of your hand in order for it to untangle. So we've covered, you can grip the Meteor anywhere on the Meteor, and with any part of your body. You could put it between your legs, and then your legs are the anchor, and you can sort of like swing it from side to side, and if you open your legs, it's gonna fall. Don't ever think that a part of your body can't be an anchor for it. Don't fixate only on your hands, involve your whole body, and when you're spinning, make sure you're moving around. Move your legs, do stuff, turn your body, and if you're struggling with a move at any point, turning with the rotation of it will help you learn the move. Anything that you do with one hand, you should be able to do with the other. A good way to practice that and be sure that you're going to is having both of your hands together as you're doing the move. Like when we were starting those Meteor hoop breaks, starting it with the two hands, starting the butterfly with both hands, things like that. And you should be able to switch your hands in the middle of the move. That is your goal. I'm not saying you'll have that immediately, I'm just saying that's the goal. When you're flowing, you'll want to be able to just naturally go with how the Meteor is moving. And you'll want to be able to grab it wherever you can.